going to be talking about the Academy, the to go to the-academy.org. This is Steve Gibson, started this with his wife Betty. They have all these uh, live face-to-face groups. They have over 1,000 chapters all over the world, helping people to do businesses. And their model is doing it face-to-face and toe-to-toe, which is pretty awesome. And so we're going to be talking about the rules of thumb. This is number 6, which is pay yourself a livable wage. So Kurt, if you're ready, I'm going to let you take the screen and I'm going to let you go from here. Thanks, Kurt.
You're back for another rule of thumb for the Academy of Creating Enterprise. Make sure you have your notes out. You're getting ready to do the homework, that you've done the homework, because each principle is critical for the growth and success of your business. Today we're going to talk about paying yourself a livable salary. And once you can do that, then you can regularly invest in building your business, growing your business. So what is that livable salary? Do you have the right number? Are you paying yourself a salary? You just taking out money when you need it? That is not how it's done. So rule of thumb number 6, how to pay yourself a livable salary. As we get into the act now, remember, we're going to start your business, grow your business, expand your business, and all at the same time, we're giving back, helping out, making the world a better place. So let's get into a case study about Antonio. I want you to think about this and what you would do in this situation. See, case studies are important because you're not emotionally involved. You're not in it. You're watching somebody else do it. If you watch somebody else do it, you can also learn about it. So about a year ago, Antonio opened a small pharmacy in his hometown and hired 2 employees to help him operate the pharmacy. Antonio knew he would need to pay his employees on a regular basis, but he wanted to cut operating expenses, so he decided not to pay himself a salary for about a week. But soon he found that he didn't have enough money to pay for all of his family's daily needs, such as food, clothing, and school expenses. So he periodically borrowed small amounts from the business's cash register to cover those bills, right? His business. When the youngest child suddenly acquired measles and was hospitalized for several days, Antonio had neither cash nor savings to draw upon, so he ended up using the pharmacy's daily cash sales for 5 days until his child got released from the hospital. Now, is that what you predicted? Did you think that was going to happen to Antonio? There's a common theme in all these thumbs as far as preparing ahead of time. Of course, you want to help your youngest child, but we could have prepared before this happened. At the end of that week, when one of Antonio's employees went to make her usual purchase of medicines and other pharmaceutical supplies, she found no money in the cash register. Antonio had depleted all of the business's capital, and he had no way to get any more money. As a result, he wasn't able to stock his shelves with the various medicines that his regular customers needed. Those customers were forced to start buying their products from another nearby pharmacy. Antonio's failure to pay himself a regular salary and discipline himself to keep the rest of the capital in the business resulted in lost sales and lost customers. So why do you think it's a good idea to pay yourself a livable salary? Is it that your spouse will have less stress? They know exactly what they're going to get every day, every week, every month? Is it planning for the future and not sabotaging your business? Is it not knowing what that number should be? Or is it all of the above? Or is it something different for you? Let's get another opinion and watch a video from Tom Painter, founder of the Success and Money Foundation and huge supporter of the Academy of Creating Enterprise.
Pay yourself a livable wage. This is very important, but it's, the big thing that you've got to do is that maybe you have to sacrifice. When you're getting started, you've got to get this rocket up into space. You've got to get this airplane off the tarmac. You've got to get it into the air. And so you need to pay yourself, but you've also got to invest that money into your businesses. Many people still have a job and they have a small business on the side that they do both. And I'm suggesting you do that as well. Now, if you make a lot of money at your business as a professional and you do very, very well, what you need to say to yourself, what's the best use of my time and the best use of my money? Every day you say, what's the best use of my time and the best use of my money? Now, if my neighbor is a neurosurgeon and he makes a lot of money as a doctor, he should not be out mowing lawns with his rental properties. Okay. He should not be fixing the plumbing. He should be in the operating room. He makes a lot more money as a doctor than he does as fixing up properties. Now, I would tell you that when you fix up properties, you do it so you learn what needs to be done and you know what needs to be done, and then you hire somebody else to do it. And then find the way that you can make the most money for your time and energy. You make more money as an investor than you do as somebody that is mowing the lawn on your real estate property, or by you flipping the burgers. Your job is to work on your business and not in your business. So, but sometimes you got to pay yourself a livable wage so that you can make that work. But at the same time, we want this business to grow.
So there you have it. Additional information about paying yourself a livable salary, some things to think about as we get into the expert advice. Listen to this advice and pick and choose what works for you and pay yourself that livable salary. So expert advice. Why isn't it a good idea to take all of your profit for a salary or take more than a set salary? Have you thought about your answer? Taking all the profits home each night prevents the owner from ever building any substantial foundation for the business and guarantees that the business will forever be small. Taking a fixed amount as a weekly salary would be much better. By establishing and adhering to a reasonable weekly salary, business owners can ensure that an excess amount of capital remains in the business as a security fund. You can't build a business unless you can put a sufficient amount of profit back into the business each week. Reinvesting your capital enables you to do things like buying in bulk, establishing good credit, and developing new product lines to boost sales. You'll probably find that your business cycle is full of peaks and valleys. During revenue peaks, you might be tempted to pay yourself more than your set salary. At those times, you'll have to be firm with yourself and remind yourself that you are reinvesting in the business now so that you can enjoy even greater benefits in the future. During slow times when you don't have successful days, you might not have any money with which to pay yourself. At those times, your family might have to forego some of your normal activities and make do with a little less. And you might have to recommit yourself to work hard and follow the other business principles. For example, you might have to set better goals and motivate yourself to achieve them faster. Or you might have to work longer during a bad day so that you don't go home until you've earned what you need. Do whatever you really need to do to meet your family's financial needs without having to take extra money from the business. Pretty simple rules. Be disciplined that you follow them. Next advice. How do you apply the principle of paying yourself a livable salary? You've heard about it. You know about it. You can see the importance, but how do you do this? In order to apply the principle of paying yourself a livable salary, you need to talk with your spouse or family and decide how much money you really need each week. Then you must discipline yourself to generate more than that amount in weekly profit and to take out a salary of no more than that exact sum each week. So let's get into plan, act, and share. So we're going to make some plans. We're going to act on those, and we're sharing them with our family and our spouse to make sure we're on the right track. So take a minute with each one of these and answer these questions. What is your personal salary? What are you taking right now? Is it too low? Is it too high? Does it vary? Is it fixed? And then with that, what is your livable salary? What are you going to take? You're talking to your spouse, talking to your children. They need to know it has to be the bare minimum so you can grow the business. So it's a little tight now, but it'll be a lot more beneficial in the future. Are you generating more profit than your salary? Do you need to work longer, set bigger goals, do more marketing, or even cut expenses? If you need to make 5 sales a day, it's 5 sales a day. You stay out there till it's 5 sales a day. And here's the other question. Are you reinvesting profit back into your business? That's how you grow. Otherwise, you're destined to be small forever. And I don't think that's what you want. You want to grow, get better, and expand your business. Next question. Are you committed to pay yourself a salary and not take out more than the set amount? Are you committed? even through hard times, even through good times, even during emergencies? Are you committed? It's all about commitment. The next question, are you committed to reinvest profit back into your business? I know there's extra. I know everything might look like a fire you need to put out, but be committed to pay yourself a salary and to reinvest that profit into your business. So that brings us back to the break-even formula. You have to know exactly what you need to do every day in your business. Doesn't matter what type of business it is. You have to cover your fixed costs every day. For example, if your fixed cost is $1,100, pesos, whatever it is, that means you need to make at least $1,100 a day to break even before there's even a profit. And if what you're selling is $50, 50 pesos, that means how many units, how many things you need to sell to break even. That means you take your unit selling price minus the unit cost. So it means if I need to make $1,100 a day, I divide that by 50. That means I need to sell 22 units a day just to break even. Of course, my goal should be maybe 30 units so there's profit, room to take salary, room to invest in the business. That is very important as you grow your business. So what is your break-even formula? You can use this. You can do it on a piece of paper, do it on your phone, whatever you need to do. Figure out your fixed costs, how many units you need to sell. You understand the formula, so you need to calculate your break-even formula, and you also need to include your personal salary in these fixed costs. Remember, we talked about that commitment, so here's a contract. Share this with your spouse, your family, whoever you need to, about what we've talked about, and then sign to make a contract with you, your spouse, your family. So you said, I put in your name, commit to take out of my profit a livable salary of, put it down, each week, and reinvest the remaining profit back into the business. Date it, sign it, commit yourself, tell your spouse, tell your family, and make that contract with yourself. That's how important this is. Of course, we need to illustrate it with a story or a fable. This is about the weaver and the golden loom. In the bustling market town, there lived a weaver named Elaine. Her looms hummed day and night, weaving vibrant fabrics of silk and wool. She had tapestries. Her products were in the wealthiest of homes. All the merchants knew her. The rugs she created were prized by people all over the country. Elaine was wealthy, renowned, and content. However, Elaine grew greedy. She noticed that her weavers worked long hours, and she felt she deserved a larger share of the profits. So she increased her own salary significantly, leaving less money for the weavers. Initially, Elaine's weavers, eager to please the boss, still worked hard, but as time passed, the morale dropped. They felt underappreciated, underpaid, undervalued. Their work became sloppy. Their heart wasn't in it. They weren't motivated. Their productivity decreased, and the quality of all the fabrics, all the products declined. Customers began to complain. Colors were not vibrant. The patterns were sloppy. The material seemed substandard. Orders dropped, and soon Elaine's once thriving business was on the verge of collapse. Desperate, Elaine tried to fix the situation. She offered the weavers a small raise. Too little too late, the damage was done. Feelings were hurt. They felt betrayed, disrespected, and they sought employment in other places. So here's Elaine, left with no skilled weavers, low orders, bad word of mouth. She had to close her business. She learned a hard lesson that day. Prosperity is not built on greed and exploitation. It requires a balance, fair compensation for the workers, reinvest in your business, looking at the long term, and the lesson of the day, pay yourself a livable salary. Don't get greedy. Don't undermine, don't destroy your business. You have to prioritize your employees, reinvesting in your business, taking a livable salary, and creating a work environment to make sure you're growing your business long term. So what's your homework? What's your number? So before the next rule of thumb, figure out what is your livable salary. What's the number that's not too small, that's not too big, that's realistic, that your spouse can know you're going to pay them every week. That reduces stress and does help the marriage. And then the next question is, what is your plan to pay yourself a livable salary? Do you need to work longer hours? Do you need to adjust? Fill in the blank. What do you need to do to make sure you can do that? Because this is another rule of thumb, another key to your success. So there you have it. Pay yourself a livable salary, reinvest in your business, be disciplined, be committed, be successful, and grow and expand your business. There you have it. Do your homework, follow the principles, and make a difference for yourself, your family, and your future.
Thanks, Kurt. And again, a big thank you to Steve and Betty Gibson, who are the founders of ACE. We call it ACE because it's called the Academy for Creative Enterprise. You can go to the-academy.org, find out more about this wonderful organization. And if they have a chapter that's near you, we highly recommend that you join that chapter so you can work with like-minded people. Thanks for watching, everybody.